blackbirds know what I got in mind. Looking for you on a cold trail. Looking for you on a cold trail. Take it out, Danny.
I'm here talking to Bill Chambers. How you going, Bill?
G'day, mate. Nice to see you.
Yeah, we just saw your set there, and
Thank you.
it's full of some wonderful, wonderful songs.
Oh, thanks, mate.
So,
yeah, good fun.
so
I love this festival.
It's fantastic,
Beautiful.
isn't it?
Yeah.
A fantastic vibe.
Beautiful.
We're at the Karua Lost Highway Bluegrass Festival,
Right.
and Bill's featuring a featured artist here, one of country music's great, great players, and an all-round nice bloke.
Thank you.
And so, mate, we heard some of the songs off your new record.
Yeah, I got a new record out. It's called Cold Trail. And it's just a collection of songs I've gathered up over the last 6 years, because it's nearly 6 years since I had a studio album out. So thought it was time to get one out again. So.
And you produced it yourself, obviously.
Yeah, I recorded it at my son's place, Nash Chambers, Boggy Mountain Studios. Yeah.
Not a shabby place.
It's all right.
Yeah,
it's
all
out,
right.
out in the sticks though. It's fairly well out west of Gosford.
Yeah.
Yeah, good spot.
Yeah, and Nashville's a beautiful sound.
He does get a good sound. Yeah. He's had a bit of practice now.
He's had a bit of practice, and
Yeah.
he's probably one of the best producers out
Yeah.
there.
Well, he's helped me a lot with my albums over the years, and you know,
Well, he should do.
good to have friends in high places.
And what are some of the motivations behind the songs, Bill?
Well, the very first song on the album's called Roll the Windows Down, and I flew into LA with my friend Audrey Auld about 12 years ago. We were going to drive down to Texas and do a 5-week tour, and it was the middle of summer, very hot, and because we're struggling musicians, we couldn't afford to hire a car, so we borrowed one. And
As you do.
yeah, and it had no air conditioning. And I said to Vicky, the woman that loaned us the car, I said, "Where's the air conditioning?" And she said, "You roll the windows down."
360-degree
that's
air
right.
conditioning.
It was great. Yeah, and so we drove that around for 5.5 weeks and had a great working holiday.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the motivations.
Yeah,
And-
that's one of them. Yeah, there's a few, and a few of the songs are real honky-tonk, like beer drinking honky-tonk songs, because you know, I just come back from Tamworth and I thought there's not a lot of real country stuff there anymore, you know. So I thought it's time we recorded a few hardcore country songs.
I call it Bon Jovi with banjos
Yeah,
myself.
true.
And you
Yeah.
know, I think that, and I noticed in your set you're really getting back to the essence of country music.
Yeah, well, I like to know where it came from. You can't play the blues unless you've heard Muddy Waters, and
Absolutely.
you can't play country unless you've heard Jimmy Rogers. That's the way I see it.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
I think that that country's going through a bit of a phase. It's kind of people from the rock idiom have kind of moved in and sort of
Yeah.
encroached on the turf
Well,
a bit.
well,
you
that's
know?
a good thing in some ways, because a lot of other influences there, you know, and I love the influences of all sorts of different music, folk music, rock music, western swing, jazz. It's good to have all those elements in there,
Yeah.
but as long as we don't lose sight of where it came from.
Do you think in Australia we take, because there's a vast amount of different types of musicians here, we kind of have our own version of country music?
We do, and that's a cool thing. It's healthy, I think.
Yeah.
But, no, it's all good as long as we don't forget where it came from, you know. Because as Christopherson once said, if it sounds country, it's a country song.
Absolutely.
It's got to sound country, you know.
Yeah. One of my major influences, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And so you just did a guitar playing workshop.
Yeah, I know nothing about the technical side of the guitar. I grew up in a very small town, and I moved to the outback for 10 years. So most of my training come from just listening to the radio or listening to records, trying to pick up what they were doing. So I know nothing about the technical side. Dan Hanrahan, my mate, he was explaining the scales and stuff.
I heard him use quite a few terms.
Yeah, he left
and
me
they're
behind.
very long terms.
I think that was in C sharp minor. Is that right? In
Yeah,
C sharp
yeah,
minor.
yep.
So Most of that solo I was playing was in B.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You've lost me again.
Yeah. Well, instead of it's kind of simple. It's just instead of playing
I
or
would-
the
I
E
would-
scale,
Well, I would play those same notes, but I don't know where it is.
I just had that note in.
Really? Okay, I'll remember that. Cool, that's great.
But
Yeah.
he does know what he's talking about.
I think I can play what he's
Yeah.
talking about, but I have
Yeah.
no idea what he's talking about.
To explain it is
Yeah,
it's harder
yeah.
than
Yeah,
playing
well, I
it.
probably come from the same school as you do, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Well, fortunately.
It's all good.
Yeah, and like, how much do you think feel comes into, and experience comes into songwriting? Like, the thing that I've noticed as a songwriter myself, a lot of my personal experience comes out in the song.
Yeah.
Do you think that you need to go through a lot of life experience to find good songs?
I'm sure you do. I think our songwriters are getting younger and younger, and we've got 13-year-old girls writing songs about breakups and stuff, which makes you wonder, you know, how much they've experienced that. But I did the same when I was a kid. You know, I had these dreams of being a songwriter, and I used to make up little songs that were pretty bad, but I used to make out I was Hank Williams, and I used to write cheating songs, you know.
Fantastic.
But yeah, as you get older, you know, once you get into your 30s and 40s, and you know, I'm in my 60s now. You look back on a lot of experiences, and things come back to you when you're writing a song, and I'm sure that helps. But we've got to use our imagination as well. A lot of the things we write about, like Roll the Windows Down, the song I mentioned, came from one line, and then I made up bits and pieces of what we experienced on that trip, but then I had to add little things to make it work as a song. So you make up stuff as you go, you know. That's, I suppose you call it creative license.
Well, I
Yeah.
know myself, I keep journals. I've kept journals when I was a
Cool.
kid, and
That's
if
cool.
you say something cool to me, I've
Yeah.
just got to go, oh,
You
you know,
write it
bang,
down.
you know.
Yeah,
And there's,
yeah.
like, there's a
Well,
couple of choruses in songs that are just
Well, that,
ditto what people
yeah.
said to me,
that's
you know.
that's what you do, and I'm sure most songwriters do that. But we all steal off other songwriters too, you know.
I think plagiarism is absolutely part of.
It's essential.
Yeah, well, you can't. I don't think you can write a song
No.
without plagiarising something.
Yeah, that's
You know,
right.
because there's only so many
Yeah.
ways you can put three chords together.
I stole it off Keith Richards, by the way.
Oh, cool. Well,
That's another. Who else can you steal stuff off? You know, Tom Waits and Keith Richards.
I think some of the young songwriters that aren't stealing ideas off others and making up stuff and going, you know, you can lose your audience very easy because they don't always follow you into these weird places and weird chords and weird progressions.
Yeah.
But they identify with a straightforward song with 3 or 4 chords. Like John Prine is the perfect example of the perfect songwriter. He never plays more than 4 chords, or pretty much never. And his songs sound very much the same, but he's an incredible songwriter.
And they're always great stories.
And when you hear, every time you hear John Prine, you think, oh my God, how can he write a song like that? You know, it's and I copy him because he's one of my heroes. I want my songs, I'm not comparing myself or anything like that, but I want my songs to head in that direction, you know. So I think it's important to copy people and have your heroes and try and...
Do you think that's like a starting point?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Hank Williams was my starting point. My parents, they thought I was asleep at night and they'd be playing these Hank Williams records, you know, all about cheating and drinking and love gone wrong, you know, and I'd be laying in bed listening to this stuff, and it seeped into my brain forever.
So if you could name 5 songwriters that are your main influences, I mean, I'm sorry to do this to you.
It's all right.
Like,
I've got...
That's a conversation I'd have over 20 beers and about, you know, and it'll be a week.
5 songwriters, yeah. Well, Hank Williams, Chris Christopherson, maybe Graham Parsons, and in recent times, Jason Isbell, very recent.
I love
artist.
Jason.
He's amazing. And did I mention John Pryor? No, I haven't mentioned him, did I? Hank, Christopherson, Graham Parsons, John Pryor and Jason Isbell. That, you know, that's only a handful. I've got probably 50.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
you know,
I'm just saying
but
5.
yeah,
Jason Isbell. Oh, that's.
Did you see him live when he was here?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, he was even better live, and his albums are amazing.
I love his record. I just got his records recently.
Which one, the new one or
the
Southeastern? We've got to get. No, Southeastern is the second to the last one.
Oh, okay.
The last one is I forget what it's called, but he's amazing, and he's an incredible guitar player.
Yeah.
When you hear him on stage, it's like wow. Yeah.
What amazing stories.
Yeah, great. And he's been through a lot, you know. And we're talking about life experiences. He's done it tough, and it comes out in his songs. Yeah.
So, I'd like to know your thoughts on being an independent artist, like the independent
I've got a few thoughts on that.
The whole sort of self-made sort of idea, because the market's changed considerably. I mean, you're 60, I'm 50, and 55 this year. Apparently, I was going to retire this year, but that's not going to happen. I think that. I think it's completely changed. The landscape's changed. Yeah.
It's not even important to have a record label anymore. And you artists that are signed out there, well, good luck to you, but sometimes it holds you back now. I know artists that are on record labels, major labels that are struggling more than us independents sometimes, because you don't have much say. You've got to buy your own albums back. So we live in an age now where you can do almost anything via the internet and social media. And my wife Kate helps me a lot with that stuff. She's good with social media. So we can let thousands of people know about a gig in the middle of nowhere instantly. Plus we can tell them about a new recording, we can tell them about a new song, we can perform here this afternoon, and we can have it up on YouTube by tonight. You know, it's amazing what we can do now, and we've got just as many resources as Neil Young and Bob Dylan in a way. Unfortunately, we're not as talented or as famous, but I've got a friend who's a bush poet, Prousty. Do you know him?
No, I don't.
Well, he just put a YouTube up, and he's got 700,000 views in the last few months.
Fantastic.
Oh, he's an independent. I mean, how can you do that? You could. That's more views than most of the superstars get.
Absolutely. That's
and
fantastic.
He's done that. Well, like what? That's the world we live in now. No, I haven't been able to do that, but I've got another friend who's his name's Steve Lee, and I've made 2 albums for him. I produce albums as well. I've got a studio, and Steve has written 2 albums full of gun songs. Now, whether you're a redneck or a greenie, these are entertaining albums. They're quite, you know. Steve's a little bit gun crazy, but a good
niche.
Yeah, it's a niche. He put a YouTube up called I Like Guns, set to the music that we recorded. 3.5 million views.
I could imagine straight away. I just went, that's complete gold.
3.5 million views. Now, whether you like it, whether you agree with it or not, he's just doing his thing, you know. And he's an independent artist living in parks.
Try and pitch that to a major record company. I want to do this record called I Like Guns. You know, like, nah, I don't think so.
Not politically correct.
Well, you know, but you know.
Depends what side the political fence you're
on. You know.
But anyway,
let's not talk about politics.
I'm just using him as an example of what can be done now as an independent artist.
And do you think that it's more empowering?
In a way, Australians like the underdog, you know.
Yeah.
They like people that have to struggle and scratch to survive, and that's you and me, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're in a good place now.
But I think that you're known very much as a man of the people. Like a lot of people that I talk to go, oh, you know, he's a great guy because he'll talk to everyone. Like, you know, whereas a lot of other people are kind of like, stay away.
Well, I am a friendly guy, I suppose, and I've got a lot of friends. I just like people and like talking to people. But it's good for your career as well. You know, people like friendly people. So I just think make yourself available. Casey's the same, you know, my daughter, and
Yep.
she's signed to a major label, and she's a pretty big name, you know, but she talks to everyone just like I do, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being
No worries, mate.
friendly to us
Good on
today.
you, mate.
It was
Good on
great,
you.
great,
Well,
great
thanks
to
for
meet you,
talking.
and great to talk to you.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
All right, good.
Know what